The stadium clock flickered to life as four silhouettes emerged from the tunnel, not just players but eras walking side by side. The crowd didn't roar immediately. It inhaled. Because this was rare. This was history folding in on itself. A genius from Rosario. A warrior from Madeira. A poet from São Paulo. A comet from Paris. And for 90 minutes in 2026, time would bend to watch them share the same stage. This is the story of the night Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, and Kylian Mbappe showed their class, not by listing achievements but by reminding the world what greatness feels like. The gathering of eras. By 2026, football had already changed shape more than once. New systems, new superstars, new narratives. Yet some names refused to fade into memory. They didn't cling to relevance, they carried it. Messi had long mastered the art of quiet dominance. His steps were shorter now, more measured, but the ball still obeyed him like a loyal secret. Ronaldo had sculpted himself into endurance. Every sprint carried the weight of discipline. Every leap felt like defiance against time. Neymar moved with rhythm, not just athletic rhythm, but cultural rhythm. His touches were music. His body spoke before the ball did. Mbappe, the youngest of the four, had already become a storm in his own right. Speed wasn't just a weapon for him, it was an identity. They didn't need introductions. The crowd knew. The world knew. And when they stood across from one another on that humid evening, it felt less like a match and more like a summit of legends. Before the first whistle, the atmosphere pulsed with anticipation. Fans held banners painted with faces from different decades. Parents whispered stories to their children about nights when Messi had dribbled through impossibility, when Ronaldo had risen above gravity, when Neymar had danced through defenders, when Mbappe had outrun destiny. Cameras followed each step. Messi adjusted his captain's armband, calm as still water. Ronaldo rolled his shoulders, eyes sharp. Neymar laughed briefly with a teammate, but his gaze sharpened the moment the ball appeared. Mbappe bounced lightly, youthful energy crackling around him. Four styles. Four philosophies. One pitch. The whistle blew. The first movements. The opening minutes were cautious, like musicians tuning instruments before a symphony. Mbappe was the first to test the silence. He burst down the flank, defenders scrambling to match his pace. It wasn't reckless, it was calculated speed. A message that the future had arrived and it wasn't waiting politely. Neymar responded with something different. He slowed the tempo. A soft touch. A feint. A turn that sent a defender in the wrong direction without a word spoken. The crowd gasped, not because it was loud, but because it was elegant. Messi drifted centrally, invisible for a few seconds, and that invisibility was dangerous. He received the ball in a pocket so small it barely existed, then threaded a pass that cut through the defense like a whispered secret. Ronaldo watched. He measured. And when his moment came, it wasn't subtle. Ronaldo's declaration. A cross arced high into the box. For a heartbeat, everyone knew where it was going. Ronaldo rose. It wasn't just height, it was timing, authority, inevitability. He met the ball at its peak, directing it downward with precision that felt rehearsed by destiny. The net trembled. He landed, turned, and exhaled. Not a scream, not a taunt, just a look that said, "I am still here." The stadium erupted. Decades of debates, comparisons, and arguments condensed into one leap. But the night was far from finished. Messi's answer. Messi does not overpower. He dissolves. 10 minutes later, he received the ball near midfield. A defender approached cautiously. Messi nudged the ball forward, then sideways, then forward again, each movement minimal, economical. Another defender joined. He slipped between them. The crowd leaned forward. A third obstacle appeared. He chipped the ball gently past the final challenge and curled a shot toward the far corner. Goal. There was no explosion in his celebration. Just a raised hand, a quiet nod. Ronaldo clapped once from distance. Respect, acknowledged without words. Neymar's canvas. As the match balanced on tension, Neymar painted his own chapter. He danced down the left side, stepovers flowing like rhythm in a samba circle. But beneath the artistry was sharp intelligence. He waited for the defender's weight to shift, then cut inside at precisely the right millisecond. Instead of shooting, he delivered a backheel pass no one saw coming. It wasn't flashy for attention. It was creative for impact. The assist became a goal, and Neymar smiled, not broadly, but knowingly. Class is not noise. It is control disguised as freedom. Mbappe's acceleration. Then came Mbappe's turn to shift the rhythm entirely. A loose ball near midfield. A half second of hesitation from defenders. That was all he needed. He exploded forward. Grass blurred beneath him. Defenders chased shadows. One tried to pull him back, too late. Inside the box, he slowed just enough to keep balance, then slotted the ball calmly past the goalkeeper. Youth had spoken, but it spoke with maturity. When he celebrated, he pointed briefly toward Messi and Ronaldo, not as challenge but as acknowledgement. He understood the lineage he was part of. The moment of unity. As the second half deepened, fatigue crept in. Yet none of them faded. Instead, something unexpected happened. Messi and Neymar combined for a fluid exchange, Ronaldo pressed high with relentless energy, and Mbappe tracked back defensively with discipline beyond his years. It was as if competition had evolved into collaboration, each pushing the other higher. The scoreboard mattered less now. The quality of movement mattered more. Every touch felt intentional. Every sprint carried story. The final sequence. With minutes remaining, the match poised on balance, the ball fell between all four legends within seconds. Messi controlled it first, gliding forward. He slipped it wide to Neymar, who flicked it back centrally. Ronaldo charged into space, drawing defenders with him. Mbappe seized the gap left behind. The final pass split the defense. The finish was clinical. Goal. But what mattered wasn't who scored. It was how they had created it, together, in fragments of brilliance layered over one another. The crowd rose not for rivalry, but for reverence. After the whistle, when the match ended, there was no immediate rush to the tunnel. Messi and Ronaldo exchanged a firm handshake. Neymar embraced Mbappe. Cameras captured smiles that carried history inside them. Because 2026 was not about proving superiority. It was about legacy sharing space. Each had shown class in their own language. Messi with quiet genius. Ronaldo with commanding presence. Neymar with artistic expression. Mbappe with explosive evolution. The meaning of that night. Years later, statistics will blur. Trophies will gather dust in museums. Highlights will loop endlessly online. But those who watched that night will remember the feeling. The harmony of rivalry. The elegance of experience. The electricity of youth. They will remember how four giants of different generations stood on the same field and reminded the world that greatness is not about replacing one another. It is about elevating the game together. And in 2026, under lights that seemed almost too small for their shadows, Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, and Mbappe showed their class, not by dominating each other but by honoring the game itself.